You are 29 years old. Your net worth is negative $12,000. You owe more than you own. And you think this is normal. It is normal. The median net worth for Americans under 35 is $14,000. Half have less. Many have nothing. Today I'm going to walk you through what life actually feels like at every level of net worth. From 0 to 10 million. Not what you buy. What changes in your head? Negative net worth. You owe student loans, credit cards, maybe a car note. Every dollar you earn belongs to someone else before it hits your account. At this level you don't think about investing. You think about surviving. Which bill gets paid this week? Which one can wait? The psychology here is survival mode. Your brain is in constant low-grade panic. You can't plan because you're always reacting. Getting to 0 is the hardest level. Because 0 feels like nothing. But 0 means you're free. You owe no one. First 1,000 saved. It sits in your account and you check it every day. Not because you need it. Because you can't believe it's there. At 5K something shifts. Your car breaks down and you don't panic. You just pay it. That feeling, that's what money actually buys. Not things. Calm. At 10K you have a real emergency fund. 3 months of expenses. You sleep different. Your shoulders drop. The constant hum of anxiety gets quieter. The psychology shifts from survival to stability. You stop making decisions from fear. You start making them from logic. 10 to 100K is where the game changes. This is where compound interest stops being a concept and starts being visible. Your money makes money. At 25K invested you start seeing real returns. A good year gives you $2,500 for doing nothing. That's a vacation you didn't work for. At 50K you start thinking differently about your job. You're not trapped anymore. You have options. You could quit and survive 6 months while you figure out the next move. At 100K net worth you cross a psychological threshold. You realize you're not poor anymore. You might not be rich. But you're not poor. And that distinction matters more than you think. The hardest part of this level? The first 100K takes the longest. Charlie Munger said it. After that, it accelerates. 100 to 500K. This is where you stop telling people about your money. Not because you're secretive. Because it stopped being interesting. It's just there. Working. At 200K your investments earn more in a good month than some people make at their job. You start to understand passive income isn't a buzzword. It's math. At 300K you could put a down payment on a rental property. Now your money isn't just growing, it's generating income. Monthly. Predictably. At 500K something strange happens. You stop caring about sales. You stop clipping coupons. Not because you're wasteful. Because your time is worth more than the savings. The psychology at this level is freedom from urgency. Nothing is an emergency anymore. Everything is a choice. $500,000 to $1 million. You'd think this is where life gets exciting. It doesn't. It gets boring. And that's the point. At 750K your portfolio generates $50,000 to $75,000 a year in returns. That's a full salary. From doing nothing. At 1 million you could technically retire. The 4% rule gives you 40K a year forever. It's not luxury. But it's freedom. But here's what nobody tells you about hitting $1 million. You don't feel rich. You feel responsible. Because now you can lose it. The psychology shifts again. From freedom to preservation. You start thinking about protection. Trusts. Insurance. Diversification. Not because you're greedy. Because you built something and you refuse to lose it. 1 to 5 million. This is where most truly wealthy people live. And you'd never know it. They drive Toyotas. They wear plain clothes. They don't post. At 2 million your money makes 150 to 200K a year. You work because you want to. Not because you have to. That's the real definition of rich. At 5 million you start thinking generationally. Not just your retirement. Your kids' head start. Their education without debt. A family that doesn't start from zero. The psychology here is legacy. You stop thinking in years and start thinking in decades. Your decisions today affect people who aren't born yet. 5 to 10 million. At this level money is no longer a tool. It's infrastructure. You have accountants, advisors, maybe a family office. Your money has employees. Your portfolio generates 400 to 700K a year. You couldn't spend it all if you tried. And that creates a new problem. What do you do with purpose when survival is solved? Most people at this level say the same thing. The money didn't make them happy. But it removed every obstacle to finding what does. Here's what every level has in common. The jump from one to the next doesn't happen because of luck. It happens because of one decision repeated 1,000 times. Spend less than you make. Invest the difference. Protect what you build. That's it. Every level. Same formula. Different numbers. Which level are you at right now? Tell me in the comments. No judgment. Just honesty.